What's going on, guys, ladies? How we all doing today? Well, I'll be basically calibrating my airlift. So you can do this by using the remote, or you can use it when it's connected to your phone as well. So basically you go to settings, or you can do it on, like I said, you can do it either way, but I'm going to be doing it on my phone today. All you have to do is download the 3P app and then turn on the Bluetooth on that guy right there, and then connect it, and you should be good to go. So from there, calibration is right there. It will really just tell you everything. Do you wish to recalibrate your system? Yes. You'll have to follow the instructions as it's on here. Is the vehicle on a level surface? You say yes. Are the front wheels straight? You say yes. Is the vehicle and all vehicle free from obstacles? Yes. Obstructions, sorry, not obstacles. Obstructions. Yes. You hit yes. Is your manifold mounted? Yes. You have to make sure of all these things too. Don't just be clicking yes. Make sure this is all done. Do you have one or two compressors? I have only one. Do you have right sensor, hence sensors? No, I don't. Enable or disable stance guard. It is disabled because I don't have stance guards. So now it's going to be checking your mouth. It's going to go through 4 steps, and it'll basically do things yourself. Finding baseline, and now here is your max set pressure. So the max pressure that you want to set, if you want to increase it, you can increase it. If you want to reduce it, you can reduce it. So so how high do you want it to go? Basically, that's what is basically your max press. So you got to do your fronts, and then you got to do your backs. I tend to just have everything equal to the same, just in case. So I'm gonna do 125. Sometimes it's not gonna be always accurate at 125. It might be one off or one over. So see, right now it's just going up and down, up and down. There we go. Front left is good. 24. Now you see it's over. You gotta be playing with it. So there we go. It's probably gonna hit 24, but okay, that's fine. So the rears as well, you wanna set up as well. Low pressure, waiting for compressor means the compressor is still running. It's better to have 2 compressors. My other car had 2 compressors, so it was much more faster to deal with. So the rear as well. The rear, you don't have to do it as high because the engine's not there. Just have it, high enough that if it's going over any obstacles and all that stuff, bumps and all that stuff, you're able to raise it up to its height limit. So we're gonna say 118. Yeah, I see that the front's already redistinct as well. So like I said, it's always gonna be playing a lot, so you can't always get it 100%. So you have to kind of have patience when you're kind of doing this, because sometimes it can annoy you. So there we go. And we hit continue, set low. So low is how low do you want it to be? For the fronts, we can do this outside so you guys can see better and what we're doing. Basically, so let's get under the shade here. Let's go on this side. So basically, you want to set how low you want it to go. The maximum low pressure. set minimum low pressure, sorry. So if you want it at that height, that's fine. Minimum for the rear as well, you do. Remember, always make sure it's at a comfortable height. Me, technically, I'm gonna do like the back, I can do 40 in the 40s. Front, we're gonna do 50s. So the back, we're gonna do, say, 46. 45 is fine too. So the front looks like I have to raise up. Now this is the minimum, as you, like I said. So that the vehicle, the compressor will keep it at that. When it's driving and all that stuff, when you're in traffic and all that stuff, in case it's leaking or leaking out or anything like that, it's kind of like a safety thing. So it'll always keep your pressures at a certain height. Make sure it is enough still for you to pass, bumps, a little bit of bumps on traffic and all that stuff. That way it's not consistently rubbing whilst you are actually driving. So like I said, patience is I have to have a lot of patience when you're doing this thing. Alright, so 45, come down 1, and that's 51 anyway, it's okay. So low pressure, waiting on compressor. So again, it's waiting on the compressor to do its thing. The compressor has to give it air, run air to the airbags and all that stuff for it to do what it needs to do. So it's going to calibrate the fronts, and then it's going to calibrate the backs as well. So when you are calibrating, make sure as well it is passing over. It's not rubbing, it's not sitting on the fender wall or anything of that nature, and just leave it alone. It'll do its thing. If you're using the app, it's on the remote, is the same setup as well. I'm only using my phone so I can kind of show you guys the video wise of it actually doing it, because the remote, you can't have it outside the car. It needs to be connected consistently to the USB for it to be powered on. So it's not to the point that you can just use it the way it is. So it's a compressor again. It's waiting on the compressor. It takes time. So make sure as well the car is running. Don't just leave it on contact, because it will indicate it as well. If the power is too low, it will indicate low voltage. So then it won't, basically, because it does not want to drain your battery out completely, so it won't do it. So make sure the car is consistently running whilst it's doing that. So it's still calibrating the front. Again, waiting for the compressor. It takes a little time. And now, wait for completion. Now that's done. It's calibrating now the rear. So it's done the front. It's gonna calibrate the rear. But again, it needs to wait for the compressor. So when you have something like this, make sure you have 2 compressors. My tank is a little big, but not too big. So if you want to maybe go with a bigger tank, maybe one single bigger tank, maybe that might work. But honestly, it's gonna excuse the car for being dirty. See, that's my compressor right there. But it's gonna take time, a little bit of time. I have this because I've lost the screws that can mount these down, hold them down. So you always remember as well to be checking on it. I ended up losing mine, so I have to tighten that. I use that to kind of keep some type of pressure on it. That's why that rag is under there. All right, so system is ready. It's done. The rear actually went real quick. So system is ready. You hit OK. It's reconnecting to the Bluetooth. And right now, that's what it's at right now. As you can see, it's not even basically it's not even calibrated everything. So from here on now, you want to adjust, because what you did is just for the minimum and for the maximum pressure. So when you're raising it up, how much pressure do you want it to reach? Usually those you want to check with your tanks as well, because the tank right there can take up to 150 psi. But I didn't put it up all the way to 150 psi. I still kept it a little under. So lowering it is how low you want it to go. So low as well, being you can have it slammed to the ground. I have it at minimum. The settings that I put it on is so if in case I'm driving or anything like that, it's the compressor is leaking out air or something like that, the bags or anything of that nature, or it's sparked or anything like that, it's leaking, which it doesn't, but just in case if it does, it will, the system, the manifold will still know to keep it at a certain height. So if I'm doing something and I accidentally tapped the wrong thing, it ends up going somewhere where it's not supposed to be going, basically the compressor will alert to stop it, to prevent it from going too low or too high. But that's basically it. So from now on, you want to control, you want to have your ride height, you want to set your ride height. Right now it's auto at 49, 49, 48, 48. You can just do that, and you can test fit it. So when you're driving, see if you're scrubbing, you want to raise it up more. If it's not scrubbing and you want a more lower stance, you can bring it down a little more as well. So once you do that as well, therefore you can determine where you want your wheels, basically how high you want your wheels to be or where it needs to be. But you need to make sure it is not rubbing. Okay, you want to make sure it's clear, and I still have space. So it's showing me 51, 51, 54, 53. Why is that? Because of my stance that I set it on. I'm not trying to have it lower than that, but if you're trying to slam it all the way down, you can as well. You hold the bottom, and it's already telling you air out. So that's the air out. So it releases all the air from the system, and it's gonna go all the way to 0. Basically, there is no air in the system. Now you have your slammed ground effect. So your ride height as well. The middle I usually have as my ride height. Low stance as well, you can set for if you may be parked or so like that, and you don't want it slammed all the way to the ground. Maybe your exhaust, something's under there or something like that, and you don't want it to always be like that. So from there you can have your minimum here as your show off, your show out, hey, my car is lowered and all that stuff. Or you can go slam all the way to the ground effect, just like that. So that's your ground effect. So here is the top one, is basically when I'm going over speed bumps or anything like that. and I know my ride height is not high enough, or I'm not too short that is high enough. So that one you want to keep. If you want to change any of these settings, you press and hold on any of it. You press and hold it, and then once it turns blue, you can start adjusting to what you want it to be. Okay, you can start adjusting to whatever you want it to be and whatnot. So say now I'm gonna do the front for that one. Let's say I'm gonna do it 90. Well, let's say 95. We're gonna do 95 just to be safe. The rears, we're gonna say, because you gotta remember the engine is a front, so it's more weight. You need to raise the front more than you really gotta do the back. So let's say 85 to the rear. So now that I have this stance set up, now I'm saying, okay, what do I want this to be? This will be my, if I'm going over a speed bump and stuff like that. So which is, I want to calibrate it to this one. So now you hold that one and you hold till it says save. So now it saved it. So now it's changed. So now if I sit down and I'm in traffic, I see a big speed bump or anything like that, and I don't feel like my ride height is high enough to go over it, to prevent the car, maybe my front spoiler from scrubbing or anything like that. Maybe I'm in traffic or I'm going on something and my car is resisting because it's too low, so I need to raise it up. So now all I have to do is tap two buttons, double tap, sorry, and it will automatically raise it up for me to that height. So now I can go over whatever speed bump, whatever this thing, obstacle that was in front of me, I can go over it, and then I can go back to my stance height of my ride height, which is right here, 49, 49, 48, 48. I'm gonna have that at 50, 50, front and back usually, but you can leave it at 49 if you feel like nothing is rubbing, nothing is scraping or anything like that. All right, guys, so ladies, this is how you basically calibrate your air suspensions on your vehicle by using your phone. The same setup is the same as you do it on the remote, but you have to remember it needs to be connected. The USB needs to be connected to it. So it needs to be connected in order for it to basically work. This needs to be powered on. You can't just use it on your phone without this powered on. It doesn't work that way. This needs to be powered on, and you can have this hidden or something like that. Once it connects, the Bluetooth can still connect to it. As you can see, it's still reading the same thing. Everything, the same thing that displays there is what's gonna display here. So it's the same thing, everything. It's just, it's easier to basically let me know using my phone. It's easier that way. And if you're outside, your car is running, you want to show off to somebody, show off, show the people, oh man, my car can do this, blah, 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 this and that and that. Boom, you go ahead, raise it up, lower it, and people will just look at you and be like, damn, that's cool, How did he do that? What did he do? Type of deal. Instead of actually being in the car and doing that. And that's usual when you're at your car meets and all that stuff. You reach there, you're lowering your car and all that stuff, and you go from there. But yep, that's how you lower your car. That's how you raise your car up using your 3P airlift suspension. So if you're out there, you're looking to get one, you can do that as well. You can use a remote, or you can use your phone. Can you use other devices? I actually tried connecting it to my tablet, my car tablet. It would not, for some reason. I don't know why, but it would not find it. It would not locate it. So with that being said, that would not work out for me. I was hoping it will be that as well, so I can have it on my car. And this I would completely have tucked somewhere. I can even have it tucked inside the radio and stuff like that. So that it's not showing up. But this is fine right now. I used to have it hanging and all that stuff, but this, I've got this. It's a phone mount actually. The magnet is there. I just taped it to the back there, and just boom, now it's there, and I can have my phone mounted here as well. So if I don't want to use my phone, or my phone is away from me or anything like that, remote is right here as well. I can just easily control what I need to control using this right here, and it'll tell me my pressure and all that stuff. I can literally easily see it there, right there, and go from there. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching, and have a good one.